I remember the cold metal floor of my Star Destroyer beneath my boots, the steady hum of engines, and the endless hunt for rebels. It should have been another ordinary moment in a life filled with war. But everything changed in a single breath. A violent pressure pulled at my chest, like invisible hands tearing reality apart. Before I could react, the world around me twisted into a storm of screaming colors and burning shadows. I have faced the dark side for many years. But this was something different. This presence did not whisper like the Force. It roared. It clawed at my thoughts, pushing madness into every corner of my mind. I fought the voices, forcing my breathing to steady inside my mask. Even so, the warp felt endless, like falling through a storm made of nightmares. When the pressure suddenly vanished, I found myself lying inside a damaged shuttle. Alarms blared. Sparks rained from torn wires. Through a cracked window, I saw a world burning under a blood-red sky. Smoke rose from shattered cities. Strange banners fluttered over trenches filled with bodies. Nothing resembled the galaxy I once ruled through fear and order. I guided the dying shuttle downward. The landing was rough, but I stepped out quickly, prepared to fight. The air tasted of ash and metal. Ahead of me, giant armored warriors marched through the ruins. Their armor reminded me of mine, but heavier, thicker, shaped for brutal destruction. Their movements were disciplined, cold, and purposeful. Then I sensed something, an overwhelming golden presence, pulsing far away, like a massive wounded star. It was not the light side or the dark side. It felt like a mind stretched across the galaxy, ancient and barely holding itself together. The sheer weight of it pressed against my thoughts, making even the Force seem small. Before I could understand it, a squad of human soldiers spotted me. They shouted words I did not know, rifles raised. My black armor, mask, and dark aura made them step back in fear. One screamed that I was a chaos demon. Others opened fire. Bolts of energy hammered against my armor. I lifted my hand. The Force wrapped around their weapons, crushing metal like paper. Their fear grew stronger, but so did their determination. A tank rolled forward, its cannon turning toward me. I focused, letting the Force flow through me, and pulled the entire machine off the ground. It crashed behind them with a roar. Their formation broke. Some fled. Some froze, unable to understand what I was. The warp whispered again, telling me to take this world, to bend it to my will, to claim this galaxy as my own. I pushed the voices away, but they stayed at the edge of my mind like hungry shadows in that moment. I understood one truth with complete clarity. I am no longer Darth Vader of the Galactic Empire. I am a stranger in a galaxy ruled by endless war, distrust, and fear. Power alone will not save me here. I will need control. I will need to decide who I am in this new darkness. The warriors who first saw me tear through their enemies did not lower their guns easily. Their suspicion was sharp, but their curiosity was sharper. Instead of trying to destroy me, their commander decided I might serve a purpose. They surrounded me with a ring of armored giants and marched me toward their gunship. Their discipline reminded me of stormtroopers, but stronger, colder, without hesitation or doubt. When the doors closed behind us, the roar of engines filled the air. The air smelled of oil, incense, and metal. The warriors watched me the entire flight, hands ready on their weapons. When one of them asked what power I used, I only replied that it was my weapon, forged through years of pain and control. They whispered words like witchcraft and sorcery, but they did not look away. Their ship carried me to a war vessel far larger and heavier than anything I had seen in my own galaxy. Massive halls lined with banners, statues of armored heroes, and burning candles filled the interior. Every surface carried prayers scratched into metal. It felt like a twisted reflection of the Empire Rotor power. and fear mixed with blind faith. I was brought to their leader, a Space Marine captain. He questioned my armor, my abilities, my purpose, and the world I came from. I answered little. My past was mine to keep. He decided I would join them on their next mission. Not as a brother, but as a weapon to be watched. I accepted. Trust is not required for victory. When we landed near the hive city they called Corrupted, the air shook with distant screams. Towers leaned like broken bones. Fires burned in endless lines. I sensed chaos before I saw it: twisted minds, broken thoughts, a hunger that reminded me of the dark side, but without discipline. These cultists worshipped madness, not power, as we advanced. The cultists poured from the shadows with wild eyes and shaking blades. The Marines charged with thunder in their steps, their bolters ripping bodies apart. I moved beside them, my breathing steady, my grip tight around my lightsaber. When the first wave reached me, I lifted them into the air with the force. Their limbs twisted helplessly before crashing to the ground. The Marines hesitated for a moment, shocked by what they saw. Then they pushed forward again, shouting over the roar of gunfire. They called my abilities unnatural, but useful. My blade cut through abominations born from warp corruption. My hand deflected incoming fire. I pushed entire groups aside with invisible strength. The warp reacted to every action I took. Its whispers slid across my helmet like cold fingers. It promised me greatness, offered me more power than I had ever touched. It tried to bend my anger into something wild and uncontrolled. I forced it back, but I felt how easily it could slip through the cracks of my mind. Yet, as I fought beside these armored warriors, surrounded by fire and screams, I felt something strange, something almost familiar. This galaxy did not shrink from darkness. It respected strength. And for the first time in many years, felt like I belonged in the heart of war. The air grew heavier the deeper I walked into the corrupted city. The walls bent at wrong angles, as if the buildings were breathing. Shadows crawled without light. Every step echoed with whispers that had no source. My helmet filled with voices that were not my own, calling my name, pushing thoughts that did not belong to me. I kept moving, letting my anger steady my mind. Nothing in my old galaxy had ever twisted reality like this. When the Chaos Space Marines appeared, the ground shook under their massive boots. Their armor looked like a brutal parody of the warriors I had fought beside. Horns twisted from helmets, symbols pulsed on their plates, and their eyes glowed with a hunger I recognized too well. They moved with the same discipline as loyal Marines, but their presence felt wrong, like corrupted reflections that refused to die. They spread out around me, speaking in voices that sounded like metal grinding against bone. They called me a gift from the warp. They said my strength belonged to them. I answered with silence and ignited my blade. The red glow cut through the thick air, and for a moment the whispering stopped. Then the roar of battle began. Blaster fire and bolter rounds slammed into the ground near my feet. I pushed my hand forward, sending a wave of force that hurled several twisted Marines into broken walls. Their armor cracked, but they rose again with unnatural speed. Their rage pressed against my senses like a storm. I stepped into their assault, cutting through corrupted metal and flesh while forcing the warps, whispers to stay out of my thoughts. Then the voices changed. They became clearer, smoother, more personal. One promised me endless strength if I let go of all restraint. Another voice laughed at every failure I ever carried, my mistake, every moment of weakness. A third voice spoke softly, offering me everything I had lost: a world restored, a body whole, a life returned. Padme's name echoed through my mind like a knife. I forced the voices out, gripping the pain they tried to use against me. Pain had shaped me. Pain had trained me. I would not let it become a chain again. The ground cracked open as the demon prince arrived. Its wings cut the air, its massive claws dripping with warp fire. Its presence shook the force inside me, twisting it in ways I had never felt. The creature towered above me, calling me brother as if I had been born from the same darkness. I charged. My blade clashed with claws that sparked like lightning. I pushed the force harder, lifting debris, crushing armor, keeping the creature off balance. The warp rushed through me, making every attack stronger, every movement sharper. I felt my power swelling, climbing, tempting me to let go of all control. When I drove my blade through the creature's chest, the world exploded in a shockwave of energy. The Marines watching froze in fear. I felt their doubt, their confusion, their terror. And beyond them, I felt the Chaos Gods observing me with new interest. As if I had passed some invisible test, I stood over the fallen creature, my breathing deep and steady. I had won, but the power I unleashed still pulsed inside me, wild and eager, waiting for a moment of weakness. I realized then how close I stood to a line I could never cross. The warp had tasted my power, and it wanted more. The return to Imperial territory felt heavier than any battlefield. The air around their ships was soaked with fear, discipline, and something older something watching me even when no eyes were present. I could sense it the moment I stepped aboard their vessel. The warp reacted to my presence like a restless storm, but something else pushed against it, something bright and broken. It felt like a massive mind trapped inside a prison of golden light. That presence knew my power. It knew my anger, and it feared me. For the first time, I wondered if even their emperor understood what I was becoming. His psychic call brushed against my thoughts like a dying sun reaching out for warmth. There was pain inside it, endless and deep, mixed with the same hunger for control that once shaped me. I felt recognition, as if we were two wounded weapons forged in different galaxies, both shaped by loss and fire. As I tried to understand that